Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's your thoughts on Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino threatening consequences for referring to ICE as Gestapo? Sounds like something the Gestapo would say. Edit, I bet the people calling me a bot or snowflake would have gladly fought back if this had been done under a Democrat administration. You guys all cared so much about the supposed deep state and government oppression until your team started it. You mean it sounds like something the head of the Gestapo would say? Maybe he should stop dressing and posing like an SS Obersturmbannführer trying to impress the great leader. He should read the definition. The Gestapo, short for Geheime Staatspolizei, secret state police, was the official secret police force of Nazi Germany and in German-occupied Europe during World War II. Established in 1933 by Hermann Göring, it was tasked with eliminating political opposition, enforcing Nazi ideology, and persecuting targeted groups such as Jews, Roma, homosexuals, communists, and other enemies of the Reich. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Gestapo. In other words, ICE the new Gestapo. The new, but not really improved. ICE is like the Gestapo. Fuck you Greg and fuck anyone that supports ICE. Including the 7 Democrats who voted for their funding. Especially those Petain motherfuckers. In the eye. Both eyes. Yes, ICE are the Gestapo. If you want me to stop saying that, come and make me. Or better yet, stop acting like the Gestapo. Was he wearing his Gestapo coat when he said that? Fucking Nazis. I dunno about calling him that, but has anyone else noticed Bovino's uniform looks similar to Italian fascist uniforms? Another Italian fascist uniform. It's 100% supposed to be a dog whistle. The long coat, the leather strap. Wait for him to wear boots and blouse trousers. I noticed it over the weekend during his press conference. He looks like he's about to demand that his soldiers capture Drive Jones. If he tries to take away my First Amendment right, I will exercise my second. And then they'll take away that right while putting 11 bullets into your back. Well, it'll be into the front of me, but yes, 11 bullets. I'll try to make them look at me when they do it. They are already doing that. Agreeing with this sentiment might get my comment banned, but people are going to shoot back. They have deliberately left no other option. But, if we shoot at ICE, then we're at war with the federal government. Yes, and what are they going to do, shoot you? They are already shooting people. I can completely understand if many people believe it's time to start shooting back. I suspect that poster feels that sacrifice is worth defending his inalienable rights. Just a hunch. I know lots of people that feel that way though. If you don't want to be called Gestapo, don't act like Gestapo. Pretty fucking simple. Here's a nice Gestapo goon openly stating they are building a database and labeling anyone who doesn't interact with them the way they want, gets labeled a domestic terrorist. https://u2.be/ho5d34b92z?C=C9IRT7SSXKBWSNZ. Sure seems like Gestapo to me. I think he can suck a big fart out of my asshole. That was descriptive. Precise language in these trying times feels appropriate to me. Don't call us Nazis. If you call us Nazis, we'll act more like Nazis. That's a look. Fuck ICE. Fuck the Gestapo. A bit redundant to mention ICE twice there. Funny, normally I'm very neutral, but as soon as someone threatens to not call them Gestapo, it's kind of a red flag. I'll decide myself what I think of you without consequences. Thank you, Herr Oberbefehlshaber Bovenwehrmann. If it walks like a duck, flies like a duck, you call it a duck. Kill US citizens, disregard freedom, and dress like stormtroopers. Yup, Gestapo. Well, to be fair, it's not the best comparison. The Gestapo was secret police. The SA, sometimes referred to as brown shirts, on the other hand, were just uniformed thugs and bullies whose main purpose was street intimidation. I think it's clear that ICE are much more like the SA. All that being said, if they're bothered by being called Gestapo, then fuck it, let's keep calling them Gestapo. SA was independent of the state. The Proud Boys, militias, etc. are their analog. SS is the right comparison for ICE since they are part of the state. Sounds like something the head of the Gestapo would say. Fine, I'll call them cosplay Nazis. Giving cosplay a bad name. Okay, Allgemeine SS it is. SS was elite. ICE is no elite, ICE is trash. ICE is like SA. We're in a wannabe dictatorship, rapidly moving toward the next phase. If we don't support lawyers like Mark Elias, who are fighting the good fight, there's probably no going back. I don't think going back at this point is an option, but if we get through this, and work really hard, we can make a better future. The only way out is through. We ended up here largely because of the failures of American democracy. If I were in charge of Minnesota, I would announce, since it's understood that no crimes committed by ICE including murder will ever be prosecuted, starting tomorrow at sunrise, no crimes committed against ICE will be prosecuted either. Including murder. See if that makes them turn tail and run. But I'm not in charge, and that's probably a good thing, I guess. The Fed would immediately take over policing and we have martial law in one day flat going that route. I understand the sentiment, but we gotta be careful with even our hypotheticals since the administration is doing everything they can to push the idea of thought crimes being punishable. By the way, I just got a warning from Reddit for merely upvoting comments that promoted violence. They even explicitly noted that nothing I said was against TOS, but upvoting anything that is also counts somehow. I personally don't believe I even have upvoted anything remotely promoting violence, so make of that what you will and just be ready for a ban hammer to come down for even suggesting this option. The censorship has already started. That's exactly what the Gestapo would do. How's that freedom of speech working out for you? Weird how those of us who tried to warn everyone that laws are only as good as the people enforcing them were called crazy drama queens and shouted down. Super fucking tired of being Cassandra. There will always be someone calling you an alarmist right up until they're being shoved into a train car. Ignore them and arm yourself. Apparently the First Amendment is only allowed for conservatives slinging slurs around, and the Second Amendment is only allowed for people going to schools to kill children. Sounds like little Greggy Poo wasn't loved enough. He was his dad's 7th loved kid after the six-pack. First Amendment is apparently no longer a thing. MAGA thinks 1A and 2A are not for everyone. Or 4th, 6th or 10th Amendment. Just throw any of them away when they try to stop you from doing anything you want. Amendments that are no longer a thing, 1st, 4th, 5th, 10th, as of Saturday, 2nd, and the 3rd since they're forcing hotels to accommodate them. ICE is the Gestapo grin grin grin. 1938 Germany. Because they like Gestapo, they abusing civil rights. The ICE Gestapo can get fucked. If not Gestapo, why Gestapo shaped? One more photo of agents transporting a toddler https://ibb.co/wrlddzd. This shrimp is the epitome of short man syndrome. The mean tweets crowd has gotten awfully thin-skinned. Don't want to be called Gestapo. Don't act Gestapo, ya knob. For a group that constantly called US snowflakes, they're getting awful butthurt over being called what they really are. Our conservative has more snowflakes than the Northeast right now. It's a mess of crying, angry toddlers. It's always projection. Maybe if ICE wasn't behaving like the Gestapo, people wouldn't refer to them in that way. Asterisk Gestapo Chief Greg Bovino. You know when a parent tells a kid, I'll give you something to cry about. Same thing, don't call me Gestapo, or we'll go Gestapo on you. Exclamation mark. Oh great, a nanny state. My thoughts are fuck him and fuck ICE. The actions of Chief Bovino demonstrate a deviation from written law in favor of individual decree. By threatening consequences for criticism, he is unilaterally creating new rules of conduct without the legislative process or judicial review required by democratic systems. When a figure in authority invents penalties for speech to protect their institution's image, they are substituting the Constitution with personal whim. This pattern mirrors the early stages of authoritarian consolidation where the enforcer becomes the law. If allowed to proceed, the distinction between legal statute and executive desire vanishes, leaving citizens subject to the shifting moods of those in power rather than the stability of codified rights. Well said, cockbrother. If you don't want to be called a Nazi, then stop acting like a Nazi. If it walks like the Gestapo and dresses like the Gestapo, I'm gonna call it the Gestapo. If it talks like a Nazi, jackboots like a Nazi, dressed like a Nazi, persecutes dear leaders, enemies, murders in cold blood and is underwhelming in the Übermensch area. Well, that makes them, unsurprisingly, a Nazi. Nazis get throat punched, no exceptions. What are the odds that he is mixing up gazpacho and Gestapo and thinks they are being called a cold soup? Not likely, but it's definitely not zero. Gregstapo bopapo fi fi fo fapo. Gestapo. I'm just trying to figure out how this loser from my hometown of WNC ended up becoming Dump's Nazi-in-chief. Woman shrugging. That's the thing about Nazis. On the individual level, they're all the most pathetic losers you've ever met. Well Greg, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, Gestapo, fascist or any other words that hurt your little feelings, maybe don't show up to ICE raids wearing a fucking SS uniform while acting like the Gestapo. It's not rocket science. I mean, I just call it like I see it. Fuck off Greg. He's actually proving their point by saying this. This fucking idiot cosplays as a literal Hugo Boss wearing Nazi, and then whines when people call him a Nazi. I would tell him to go to hell, but not even Satan deserves that. So basically, if we don't stop calling ICE, Gestapo, they'll murder us like the Gestapo. My thoughts are, I could give a flying fuck what he thinks and he can shove his consequences up his ass. Fuck him. Plural of ICE is ISIS, pronounced ISIS. Sorry, I will stop doing free speech right away. How silly of me to compare you to history's authoritarians. The only good Nazi is a dead Nazi. I just think it's wild how the party that claims to honor the Constitution is the one constantly violating it. I think Greg Bovino is a little bitch and nothing out of his mouth will change that, only solidify my stance. Very Gestapo. If you don't want to be called Gestapo or brown shirts, then stop acting like them. If you don't want to be called a Nazi, then stop acting like one. And if you double and triple down on shit when you're called on this, and threaten consequences if we don't stop calling you on it, all you're doing is proving us right. If the shoe fits, wear it.